Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my initial comparison of the Nike KD13 and the Nike KD14. So the retail price on both of these shoes is the same. It's 150 bucks. So if you guys do want to cop either of these shoes, I'll leave a link in the description box. But let's get it started off with the Tracciones, and as you guys know, the KD13 is GOAT traction. Really good. It has an incredible bite, a nice loud squeak. Obviously that has nothing to do with performance, but I like to have a nice squeak in my shoe, you know? The KD14, I have not played in it yet, but just trying it on my wood floors, it has an insane bite, really nice squeak as well. So I'm very excited to play in it. But one thing though is that the KD14 durability seems like it's gonna be very bad. So it has extremely thin lines that feel very pliable and very soft. So on an outdoor court, obviously I don't think it's going to be the best. The KD13 on the other hand, it was okay, you know, it wasn't that bad for durability on an outdoor court. So just on an initial comparison, I feel like the KD13 is going to be better for durability, but for performance, especially just on the indoor court, I feel like they're going to be really good. One thing I like about the KD13 a little bit better though is the outsole curvature, right? So if you look at the KD13, it kind of teeters on like the middle part of the shoe here, right? So it has a little bit of a curve like this way on this axis, and it just feels super nice. And also you have a little bit of the outsole coming up here on the medial side of the shoe if you do like, you know, these types of movements. The KD14, it has a little bit of the outsole coming up, I would say just around, actually the same amount as the KD13 as you guys can see, but it's a super flat outsole. There's really no outsole curvature, which sucks. You know, that's one thing that I really liked about the KD13. So we'll have to see the difference there. I mean, a lot of shoes are flat, so it's not a huge deal, but I just really liked how the KD13 kind of took inspiration from like the Kyries and did that. So there's a little bit of a difference there. Moving on to the heel to toe transition, the KD13 wasn't the best, but it also wasn't horrible, right? So here in the heel, as you guys all know, it's just rubber and it's super clunky, right? Like, so it doesn't feel very nice when you're like running down the court and you're doing heel dominant strides, right? So when you strike your heel, it feels a little clunky, you know, but you know, obviously the shape of the heel, like this rounded shape, definitely helped that, but it still felt clunky because the midsole was not exposed. But here in the KD14 on the other hand, it's completely exposed and it's Cushlon, and Cushlon is super soft, so it just feels way smoother here in the heel for the KD14. But also, another thing that's a little different is the KD13 has a little bit more curve than the KD14 here in the forefoot. Just a tiny bit. It's pretty much negligible, but it's just a little bit of a difference there. But as far as the forefoot flex goes, they're both very flexible, you know, here in the forefoot. Look at that. So because of the exposed heel, the KD14 feels like a little bit smoother, I would say. And because of the exposed midsole and it being Cushlon, the KD14 feels like it has better cushion, right? So both of these shoes have full-length zoom strobe boards, and it's just awesome. As you guys all know, you have a zoom unit pretty much right underneath your foot, and it's full length, it's bouncy, there's a lot of compression, and it's really good for impact protection and feeling like very springy when you're playing, right? But like I mentioned, the KD13 is pretty much fully caged, so there's really no compression here in the midsole. So it's like you feel the zoom unit and then that's about it, you know. But here in the KD14, you feel the zoom unit and then you feel the Cushlon compressing, which feels really nice. I love it, and it's just better impact protection. And also the Cushlon isn't like super thick, you know, so it doesn't feel like way too soft and way too mushy or anything. It just gives a nice soft feeling, and I really like that as opposed to the KD13, right? So right now I'm liking the KD14 a lot better, and I definitely think it is an improvement. Like in the reviews for the KD13 and the KD12, like I was like, why would you do all this when you have a nice zoom setup? Why would you cage it like this, you know? And they finally fix it up, which I'm super happy about. As far as the court feel and all that goes, the court feel seems pretty damn nice in both of the shoes. So yeah, KD14 right now feels better. All right, moving on to the materials. Yeah, the KD14 is definitely an improvement as well, I would say. You know, so the KD13 is using like this really, you guys hear that? Really cheap, really flimsy feeling material, and it's a $150 shoe. So this definitely was not a great material choice in the KD13, but I mean it made it work, you know, because it's super thin, it conforms to your foot very well, it's supportive, and it wasn't a huge deal for me on foot, right? But the KD14 on the other hand, it feels a little bit more quality. I mean, it doesn't feel very nice, you know, like a knit posit or like a knit, you know, from the Curry 8, but it still feels a lot nicer than the KD13, and it feels, I would say, like just as thin, but I would say it's a little bit more comfortable and a little bit softer on foot, which feels a little bit better. Of course, the KD14 has a midfoot strap, which I hate. It makes the shoe really annoying to lace up because the strap, it keeps wanting to go like this when you're lacing the shoe, and also the Velcro is probably going to mess up your laces. And as far as the tongue goes, they both have a good amount of padding, and here in the ankle area, I would say it's pretty much the same. It feels nice, it feels comfortable, and offers good heel lockdown for both of the shoes. So on foot, they both feel pretty similar as far as like they're both thin. They both conform to your foot very well. It's just the KD14 feels a little bit more comfortable, a little bit softer, and it has better quality than the KD13. So that's also definitely an upgrade. All right, as far as the fit goes, pretty much the same, right? So if you guys have ever tried the KD13 on, and you know what size you are, get pretty much the exact same size here in the KD14. I would say the KD13 is a little bit more snug here in the toe box area. It's just like, it's really snug for the KD13. The KD14 is a little bit more relaxed, but still very snug. So like I really can't even curl my toes in both of the shoes, right? So just be careful on that, but I went true to size for both of the shoes and they both fit me very well. And as far as the width goes, I would say they're both very narrow, so just watch out if you have a wide foot. Also, I guess both of these shoes are pretty easy to put on. I would say the KD14 is a little bit lower, you know, there is a little bit of a dip here in the middle of this spot. The KD13 is pretty much just flat, but pretty much they're both mid tops and they're both easy to put on. As far as the support and lockdown goes, the KD13 I had no issues with. You know, lateral containment, I was good. As you guys can see, we have a sidewall from this foam and also this swoosh kind of a little bit, adding a little bit of support. But I had no issues with the KD13. The KD14 I am a little worried about. You know, here in the forefoot, we don't really have anything as far as the lateral counter goes. There is something here in the midfoot, so that might help a little bit, but still, my forefoot can come out. So we'll have to see on that. But I don't know, let's see which shoe is wider. I would say it looks like the KD14 is just a tad bit wider, just a tiny bit. But as you guys can see also, like the KD13, the outsole curvature a little bit. The KD14 is just pretty much flat. For lateral stability, the KD13 I didn't really have any issues with. The KD14 I also don't think I'm going to have any issues with. And also it is a flatter base like I mentioned. As far as the weight goes, let's see which one is lighter, right? So the KD13 I feel like is 12 ounces, 12.06 ounces. The KD14 is definitely heavier, it's 12.5 ounces. Yeah, 12.54 ounces. Your 0.5 ounces is not a huge deal. I mean, you're really not going to notice 0.5 ounces too much. So yeah, they both feel pretty much the same. The materials feel very thin and minimal on foot. I don't really like the strap. That makes the shoe feel a little bit more bulky, just a tiny bit more here in the midfoot area. Not a huge deal, but I don't like the strap all too much, you know? But as far as like how the shoe feels on foot, they both pretty much feel the same right now. So I guess that is a good thing. Moving on to the aesthetics, definitely the KD13. The KD13 looks a lot better in my opinion. The KD14, I don't know. I hate this colorway. I don't like this leopard print. Why is this a thing? But you know, we'll have to see and wait on different colorways for the KD14. But right now, I like the KD13 better. So tell us what you guys think looks better down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, the KD14 definitely feels like an upgrade from the KD13. And the KD13 for me was a top tier performer. One of my favorite shoes to play in all of last year pretty much, with like the Curry 8 and the Puma Clyde All Pro and all that, as you guys know. And then like the All City 9. So if it's feeling like an upgrade from the KD13, the KD14 feels incredible right now. The only thing I'm worried about, I guess two things, is the traction not being durable, and then I guess the lateral containment here in the forefoot, but we'll have to see on those. But that's pretty much it. You know, the traction feels just as good as the KD13. The cushion feels better in the KD14. Materials feel just as thin, but also better quality and softer. Support seems like it's going to be good as well. I guess the aesthetics aren't as good right now, but you know, that has nothing to do with performance. So yeah, I'm very happy with the redesign of the KD14. I feel like they did a really good job. So yeah, if you guys didn't really want to wait for the full performance review, just from my first impressions and from my comparison, if you guys want to cop the KD14, I would say go ahead and try it out. But anyways, again, if you guys do want to cop either of these shoes, I'll leave a link in the description box. The KD13 should be on sale because it is an older shoe. And like I mentioned before, the KD14 is 150 bucks. So again, links are below. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.